Alright, welcome back. Working on the truck again today. I've been out all morning picking up some materials. Got some laser cut stuff here for an upcoming project. Not sure what I'm getting up to today, but we'll see. I think I want to get the steering column mounted today. I want to at least make a start on that and get an idea for the rest of the floor. I've got this box section for the rest of the floor pan, so we'll see how we go. I'm back in the shed today. I've made a purchase. Some 75mm wheel spacers to go on this. As you can see, the wheels sit in pretty far from the guard. I want to get a certain look with it, so I'll put these on. This will allow me to finish the rest of the floor frame. I'll be able to turn the wheels, see where the steering lock stops the wheels, and then I can build the frame for the floor. We'll get these put on with the wheels and we'll have a look.
There's still more than jack it up though.
Yeah, keep going. I've got a helper, so we'll keep going. You keep lifting it while I do this.
What if it hits the roof of the shed?
Well, stop before it hits the roof.
I don't think it's even.
Have a look at how wide these are. These are the biggest spacers I've ever put on anything.
Holy block. I bet that's the biggest part of a car I've ever seen you did before.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go change out my skirt.
Alright.
I'm coming back, guys.
Okay. She's coming back, guys. Did you hear that? Hopefully she puts the correct PPE on. And yes, I know, I do have a hoist, but it's too hard to push it out and into the hoist area. Work with what you got. The jack never fails. Alright, I'm going to throw these on. Moment of truth.
Let's see if it actually fits though.
Of course it fits. My God, they look silly.
I know they do. That's probably because you haven't put the wheel on yet. That?
Yeah.
It'll probably look better when you actually put the wheel on. Don't you reckon?
I hope so. Takes a full-size wheel nut.
Oh, wheel nut.
These.
Oh. Is that like the biggest one you can get?
Well, usually you use these little ones.
Oh. Yeah, but is it the biggest one you can get?
Sure. I suppose. So I don't know if this is the best idea, but I do plan on making some extended control arms. So we'll have to maybe use these just for mock-up purposes. I don't know if I'll actually drive on these. I don't believe that's the safest option. Yeah.
Why?
Hmm?
Neither do I. I think you might need that size though. Because it looks like it perfectly fits.
Yeah.
So I think you might need that size. What's that?
It's a spacer.
I thought that was a bullet, you guys. You know what you need?
What?
Aircon.
Yeah, it's a hot day today.
I don't think much aircon's going to stay in
37 today it's meant to be, so a bit warm.
Hopefully tomorrow's cold. Technically if tomorrow's cold, cold, we're still gonna be hot anyway. You were barely seeing.
Well, this is one of the reasons I wanted to wait till I had the spacers. You can see there, that's a part of the frame that I built for the floor. And the wheels don't really clear it. And this thing hasn't even been lowered yet, so it's not even on the ground. So I just have to be mindful. I've got to build the firewall to clear all this. Because the last thing I want to do is have to chop all this out. Well, this is the result. 75mm wheel spacer, 12-inch wide rim, neg 44 offset, and it only just pokes out the guard. So yeah, this truck was very wide to start off with. I actually don't know if I'm going to be able to take this thing to the track on the car trailer. So that's a problem for another day. We're not even close to going to the track yet. So this is the look of it. Probably look a lot better when she's a tiny bit lower. I've got a long way to go down to lower it if I need to, which is good because I don't want it fully slammed. I don't want the body fully slammed. I mean, I could have channeled it and lowered the body a lot more to give me that aggressive stance, but then I'll run out of space in the cab. So she looks pretty tough from the back. Those big tyres. I don't have the spacers on the rear. I'm going to leave these on to keep the car mobile and get them off the ground. So I want to muck around with the steering column now. This is what I'm dealing with. So the engine and transmission are in place. No pedals. Steering column's just floating. So I'm going to start by removing this bracket. That's the original bracket out of the Navara. I've chopped some of it off. I went and bought some pipe to go inside it. So I have taken some measurements. I'm going to start with making a little bracket to hold it off there. And then we'll modify that pipe and we'll see how we go. I'm going to be mucking around with the steering column today. This is the original Navara column mount. It's got some threaded nuts here. What I'm going to do is chop it here and chop it here and use the center portion. This mounts the steering column. These two locations are for the steering column. This one here is a brace and this one here is a brace as well. But this brace bolts onto this. And what this does, I've got it upside down. What it does, it also has some location points or bolts for the brake pedal. So this will help me set up the brake pedal as well. But this shape, there's no point trying to use the bend. It's in the way. This goes to nothing in the cab. I've bought some extra pipe. I'm hoping I can run a cut through the middle there and the pipe will fit inside. So I'm going to get some my helmet on and I'll chop it up and then we'll get this pipe and see if it fits. This is what I came up with to give a go. So the comma has 2 holes in it already. I've just tacked a bit of plate on and this is the Nissan part. I'm going to see if I can get this thing in place temporarily. I'm really struggling to get any measurements because I have to hold it there. So I need a way to support it well enough that it holds its own weight or supports its own weight. So I'm going to try this. If it fails, I think I'm going to start tacking some bracing on and tack it in place. And then I'll go from there. Just because I'm really struggling to get it located. But we'll see how we go. So we need to come across that way. At the moment, if the door was there, my elbow would be rubbing. We need to come over a substantial amount, actually. The beauty is it's only tacked. I can move it across. I think it needs to come across about 50 millimeters, so let's loosen these bolts off. I'll move it across and we'll be back. I've got it temporarily mocked up. I'm going to mark this area out so I can quickly clean it up with the grinder, and I'll bring the welder and we'll give it some tacks. So the beauty of using the hose clamp is I can undo it, slide the pipe out of the way, get the grinder in there, and do what I need to do. Only thing I've got to make sure with is the tilt is the right angle, and then I'm going to give it a few tacks. I think this will be the last, will be its final resting home, let's say. I'm wrapping it up for today. I've ended up stripping the front end off it again to make space. I was hoping to be a bit further along, but sometimes just how it goes. I've pulled the front wheels off. I've just realised with the wheels on it, I can't turn it without power steering. So I put these on it so I can still move it around. Left the big fatties on the rear. It's fine on the rear. What I was thinking for the floor and the clearance, as you can see there, I've marked out a 45-degree angle. That's the only area the wheel interferes. So what I'm thinking is trim it off there, and then we'll go straight across towards the transmission there, and that will be the start or the base of the floor and the bottom of our firewall. I can bend a little bit of sheet metal here, so the sheet metal will go across, and that way that will make the firewall up. Shouldn't be a big problem. I've done the steering column. I'm happy with that and where it's sitting. So I think in an earlier video I was talking about this bracket. So this is what I've done for the front end. It's still pretty flimsy. As you can see, it still moves. So I need to add some bracing in here. I'm thinking this will happen at a later date, but I'll add some box section across the bottom here to reinforce it. And then some box or some plate from this plate to the box section up top, and that will secure the front end. So this is a bit tight, but you can see where the firewall is going to go. So this area here is going to be the firewall straight up. The master cylinder will sit about here somewhere, but I'll muck around with that on a later date. I still need to add the flooring, the frame, the rest of the frame for the floor. I know the steering column looks high, but the seat still needs to go a bit higher. The seat will be higher. And this steering column is actually adjustable, so we have about 25mm of adjustment down there, or 20mm or so. So I can adjust it, it'll be fine.